Hello, Father Su. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you also, my friends.
Can you talk about a little bit your vocation story?
Oh, yes, of course. My name, Father Petrus Santos SCJ. I was born in Indonesia. To make short about my story, about my vocation, I felt that God calls me when I was still very young, at the time 8 years old, in the grade 3 of elementary school. And the story is very unique. Why? Because I just finished pray the rosary in the front of the Mother Mary statue inside of the church. And after finish, I pray the rosary, like I hear God's calling, like that. Like Mother Mary called me to become priest. But at the time I was afraid. And I didn't want to share about my experience for a long time. Finally, 3 years later, I share my story about my vocation story to one priest. The name is Father Martin van Ooy. He was a missionary also from Netherlands. And finally, I still remember Father Martin at the time hugged me. And after that, he said something to me. Yes, I'm very happy to hear you that you want to become priest. And since at the time, really, my dream to become priest really very strong. This is the story behind of my vocation actually. That's one, Father.
Did you grow in a Catholic family?
Oh, of course, because my mother and my father was Catholic, and especially from the background of my father before, really Muslim. In Indonesia, majority were Muslim, and finally my father, because of merit maybe, this entered to Catholic, and finally my father become religion teacher. We call catechist. So that's why from my family the background is Catholic, and from my mother's side already from the beginning they were Catholic. So that's why I was born in Catholic family, like that.
When did you enter minor seminary?
I entered minor seminary after I finished my junior high school in 1991. This one I joined the test at the time in minor seminary in different province, because my province in Lampung province, and I have to move to another province in South Sumatra, like that. And I have to take a train at the time in 1991. I followed the test, and finally I enter exactly to minor seminary in 1992. And at the time my batch many, we have 23, that's one. Yeah.
So in the beginning, you why did you choose to become a missionary?
Well, this the story is very unique for me. I can share in some parts, Parts one, because when I was child, I met a lot of missionaries. I saw the struggling of the missionaries, and at the time, really about the language, about the cultures, about the food, about the weathers. Imagine they came from Europe, and have to become missionaries in Asia. So the weather very hot. That's why this experience like enter to my experience. But I do not know for the future. But at least I think, because when I was child, really I met a lot of missionaries. And after that, in minor seminary, I met also many missionaries. more missionaries, and after that give me influence. To make short my story, another part when I studied in the Philippines, I met Father Rino Venturin. This missionary is actually originally from Italy, but finally moved to Argentina and become missionaries there in Argentina. And I met him in Manila when I study there in Manila. And Father Rino really gave me influence how to become missionaries. But at the time I sent letter to my superior that I want to apply to become missionaries. But the response of my superior, okay, in the future, you can become missionaries. But wait for a moment, because I will assign you to minor seminary. And at the time, of course, my first assignment after I study, I work in minor seminary as formator and as a rector in minor seminary. And every year during the retreat, there is something inside, there is a fire from inside that I want always to become missionaries. And finally, in 2016, I apply to become missionaries to the superior. And finally, my superior allow me to go for the mission. But before I went to the mission, I asked my superior to allow me to go to the Holy Land at the time. So that's why I went to the Israel, to the Holy Land, to prepare myself for the mission. And since 2017, I came to Macau at the time, and I stayed in Macau 3 months. And after that, I moved to Hong Kong, September 1st, 2017, and I begin to become missionaries there, but study language first at the time.
Yes, I remember we studied Catholics together.
Mm-mm.
So you were sitting beside me. So yeah, and I know it's not easy for foreigners to study a new language, especially
Cantonese.
Cantonese.
Yeah.
So, what's your feeling about the new language, the new challenges?
Yeah.
And also, how did you overcome the challenges?
Yeah. First, actually, because to become missionary is really from myself already, like my dreams. I know the risk to become missionaries, because through my experiences when I met the missionaries, I think the challenge is also the same, about the language, about the culture. But because this is my dream, so that's why challenges that I face, I have to overcome like that, So that's why when I start to study Cantonese at the time, really for me very difficult. Father, very difficult for me to study Cantonese. But I believe, the Holy Spirit will help me. And in my prayer, I just pray, let me God to just send me the good person, the good people to help me to study this language. And finally, step by step, I not only love this language, but now I can improve also about this language. But how to overcome is really through the discipline, be patient, and just need the time like that.
And recently, I think most your former parishioners knew about you lost your left foot. Yeah, I know it's not easy.
Not easy.
It's not easy for a person to accept that.
Yeah.
Especially you are a missionary. You should you need to travel.
Yeah.
And you need to walk. So now you still in the process of recovery.
Yeah.
So, what's your further plan, or what's your emotion now?
Yeah. So actually, when I have this problem. I think this big problem also in my experience is that I have to lose my leg right side, and finally in the first step I just accept it, just accept it. And finally, when my superior asked me, how about your future? So my answer is very simple. My heart already in the mission. So any problems I have to face, and I will continue about my mission. Of course, I have to adapt with the new situation, but already my heart is here. So if I want to continue about my mission, I think God will help me, will help me. And I believe the Holy Spirit really will help me in the future for our mission. Because actually, my mission is I have to continue in Macau, like that. So I have to continue this mission, even with my weaknesses, with my limitation. So I'm happy to continue to do missionary work like that, Father.
A while ago, indeed, in our conversation, you mentioned that the Jesuit spirit, the spiritual
Ignatian
spirituality helped you to see the problems, to face the challenges. Can you talk about a little bit about the Ignatian spirituality? Hope it helps you.
Yeah, actually, I want to join for the retreat, for 1 month retreat, actually already many years ago. But finally, I have chance, to join for the 1 month retreat through the Ignatian spirituality. So just last year's, especially in October until November, I took this chance for the 1 month retreat, use the Ignatian spirituality. This really changed about my life. So I not only see about the richness of the Ignatian spirituality or Jesuit spirituality, but I can enter, during the retreat. I can enter through the process, during the retreat. First, really, how to see about my life, like that. And after that, how to see, how to follow Jesus. Not only to follow, but also how to love Jesus deeply, deeply, and deeply. And finally, through the Ignatian spirituality, so I got a lot of experiences, especially once the most of experience is really like I feel that Jesus is everything for me, and I can see Jesus everywhere, and I can love Jesus anytime. So that's why I not only follow Jesus, but really I want to follow Jesus deeply. And now to make a real how to follow Jesus, of course, one of the spirituality that Jesus teach me is really how to go everywhere, how to go everywhere, not only to do good things, but also to preach about the good news for everyone in any places, like that, Father.
Do you have anything you want to share?
So I think, I just encourage, especially for the young people, of course, because now I am in Macau, and before I was working in Hong Kong diocese, I think 5 years, in the parish, in 2 parishes, first in Saint Jerome and the second one in Saint Thomas, parish. I just encourage the people, especially the young one, to follow God's vocation. Why? The reason is very simple, because Hong Kong diocese, Macau diocese needs more priests or religious, because if we don't have priests or we don't have religious and we just depend on the missionaries, I think it's not easy also. So better we encourage the young people. I encourage young people to join with us to help Hong Kong diocese and Macau diocese, like that.
Thank you.
Welcome.